Most people expect financial progress to feel dramatic. A paid-off car, a huge investment account, a month where nothing goes wrong. But money usually starts working for you long before your life looks wealthy. It shows up in smaller moments. You check your account 3 days before payday, and your stomach does not drop. The car needs a repair, and the problem is annoying, but it does not destroy the month. Your savings grows even during weeks when you are busy, tired, or not thinking about money at all. Those moments are often the first proof that your financial life is changing direction, because the real shift is not when you suddenly have a lot of money. It is when money stops requiring your constant rescue. There are 7 signs this is happening, and they are easy to miss because they feel less like success and more like less panic, less damage, and more control. The first sign is simple. You are no longer afraid of the final week before payday. That does not mean you are rich. It does not mean you never check your balance. It means the last few days of the pay cycle no longer feel like a financial survival test. Before, payday came, the bills left, and food, transportation, debt payments, and unexpected costs took the rest. Then the final week became a calculation. How much gas is left? Can this purchase wait? Will that automatic payment clear before the deposit arrives? You were not managing money. You were managing timing. That difference matters. A person can earn a reasonable income and still spend every month trying to prevent one payment from colliding with another. When your money starts working for you, the calendar becomes less threatening. You are not counting the hours until the next deposit. You have a small amount of margin sitting between your life and the edge. That margin may only be a few $100s, but it can change the emotional weight of an entire month. The first stage of financial progress is not abundance, it is breathing room. And breathing room is easy to underestimate because nobody congratulates you for not panicking on a Thursday night. The second sign is that emergencies still hurt, but they hurt less than they used to. This is one of the clearest differences between having money and having money that protects you. An emergency fund does not stop the flat tire, broken phone, medical bill, or sudden trip. It changes what happens next. Without a buffer, one problem creates 3 more. The repair goes on a credit card. The credit card raises next month's minimum payment. The higher payment reduces next month's cash. Then the next problem arrives before the last one is gone. That is how one bad week can follow someone for a year. But when savings absorbs the hit, the problem stays closer to its original size. A $500 repair is still a $500 repair. It does not quietly become $700 after interest, late fees, missed payments, and months of stress. That is what financial protection really does. It keeps one event from spreading. You may feel frustrated when you use the money, but using savings for a real emergency is not financial failure. It is the moment the savings proves why it exists. Money starts working for you when a bad event becomes an expense instead of a crisis. The third sign is that your savings grows without needing a fresh burst of motivation every month. A lot of people think they have a saving problem when they really have a decision problem. They wait until the end of the month. They look at what is left. Then they decide whether they can move something into savings. But by the end of the month, the money has already been asked to solve too many things. There is always a reason to keep it available. A higher grocery bill, a birthday, a repair, a stressful week, or a payment you forgot. Saving becomes the final request made to a tired paycheck, and the final request usually loses. When money starts working for you, saving stops depending on how responsible you feel that week. The transfer happens first. Maybe it is $25 $100, or a percentage of every paycheck. The amount matters, but the pattern matters more at the beginning, because automatic saving creates a new default. Instead of asking, "Can I afford to save this month?" your financial system starts asking, "How do I live on what remains after I saved?" That is a much stronger position. Motivation is useful for starting a system. It is terrible at running one. The goal is to remove the choice often enough that progress continues when life gets noisy. Savings that only grows when you feel inspired is still fragile. Savings that grows while you are distracted is starting to become a system. The fourth sign is that your debt is shrinking instead of recycling. There is a major difference between making payments and making progress. A person can send money to debt every month for years and still remain trapped in the same balance. They pay the car down, then groceries or a repair bring it back. They make the minimum payment on time, but interest keeps part of the old purchase alive. From the outside, they look responsible. They are paying every bill, but the debt is not leaving. It is rotating. Debt begins working against you when old spending keeps claiming new income, and debt begins losing power when the balance moves in one direction for several months in a row. Not down, then up, down, even slowly. That usually requires more than sending extra money. It requires stopping the conditions that recreate the balance. A small emergency fund, fewer fixed payments, a plan for irregular expenses, and payments above the minimum. Otherwise, every debt payment is trying to drain a bathtub while the faucet is still running. The important sign is not that you made a large payment once. It is that fewer parts of your future paycheck belong to your past. When debt stops recycling, your income starts returning to you. The fifth sign is that you are buying less for emotional rescue. This one is not about becoming strict, joyless, or afraid to spend. It is about noticing when spending has been doing a job it was never built to do. Sometimes, the purchase is not about the object. It is about relief. You had a difficult week, so dinner becomes the reward. You feel behind, so the new phone becomes proof that life is improving. You feel bored, exhausted, or invisible, so shopping creates a quick moment of control. The relief fades, but the payment remains. That pattern is expensive because the money is not only buying the item, it is being used as medicine for stress, disappointment, loneliness, or frustration. When your money starts working for you, you do not suddenly lose every impulse. You become better at separating the feeling from the financial decision. You can still buy something you enjoy, but you are less likely to need the purchase to repair your mood. That creates a quiet form of wealth, not because you never spend, because fewer companies can profit from your worst moments. Emotional spending keeps money busy fixing the present. Intentional spending gives money a chance to protect the future. The sixth sign is that your raises have a plan before they arrive. A raise should create more room, but for many people, it only creates a more expensive version of the same pressure. The paycheck grows, then the car payment grows, the apartment gets better, the subscriptions multiply, food spending becomes easier to ignore. A few upgrades feel harmless because each one fits inside the new income. Months later, the person earns more, but still feels one paycheck behind. This happens because income usually arrives with no assignment. Lifestyle is ready to claim it immediately. When money starts working for you, the raise is divided before your life expands around it. Some of it can improve your lifestyle. Money should make life better, but some of it goes toward debt, savings, investing, or reducing a fixed cost. The difference is not whether you enjoy the raise. The difference is whether the entire raise disappears into a new baseline. A raise without a plan becomes permission to spend more. A raise with a plan becomes financial acceleration. Even a simple rule can change the outcome. Half improves life, half improves your future. Or 1/3 goes to spending, 1/3 to debt, and 1/3 to saving and investing. The exact split can change. The important part is that the decision happens before the money becomes normal. Because once a higher lifestyle feels normal, reducing it feels like loss. The seventh sign is that some of your money has started creating more money. This is where financial progress begins to move beyond protection. Savings protects you from going backward. Debt reduction frees your future income. Investing gives part of your money a different job. Instead of being spent once, it has the chance to produce growth, income, or ownership over time. At first, this stage can feel almost pointless. A small investment account does not change your life in a month. Dividends and interest may look tiny, and markets rise and fall. The early numbers do not feel powerful, but the purpose of the first stage is not to make you rich quickly. It is to change the direction of the relationship. For most of your life, you work and money gets spent. Investing introduces a new pattern. You work. You keep a portion. That portion begins working too. The first dollar your money earns without you trading another hour for it may be small, but it represents something much larger. Your financial life is no longer powered only by your labor. This is why two people with the same income can slowly end up in completely different places. One person uses every raise to support a more expensive life. The other uses part of each raise to buy assets, reduce debt, and build margin. For a while, they may look equally successful. The difference becomes visible years later. One person needs every paycheck to maintain what they built. The other has money helping carry the weight. That is the wider pattern behind all 7 signs. Money starts working for you when it reduces your dependence on perfect months. You do not need every bill to be predictable, every decision to be perfect, or every year to bring a raise. Your system can absorb mistakes, delays, and ordinary life. That is a better definition of progress than looking wealthy. Looking wealthy means your spending is visible. Becoming stable means your protection is invisible. The account that keeps you from using the credit card is invisible. The automatic transfer is invisible. The smaller debt balance is invisible. The raise you did not fully spend is invisible. The investment growing quietly in the background is invisible. But invisible money is often the money doing the most important work. To move closer to this, start by creating margin before chasing perfection. Keep a small amount in your checking account that is not assigned to this month. That breaks the habit of reaching zero before every payday. Separate emergency savings from everyday savings. One protects you from real shocks. The other pays for predictable costs like repairs, annual bills, and travel. Choose one debt and make sure its balance moves down for several months without returning. Progress becomes real when the direction stops changing. Pre-plan your next raise, bonus, or unexpected income. Decide the percentages before the money arrives, when emotion and lifestyle have less influence. Then begin moving a small amount into long-term ownership. It does not need to be impressive. It needs to be consistent enough to survive your real life. You are not failing because your progress does not look dramatic. The strongest financial changes are often boring. A bill gets paid without stress. A repair does not become debt. A transfer happens automatically. A balance falls. A raise remains partly yours. A small investment keeps growing. That is money changing sides. It is no longer only leaving you, pressuring you, or demanding more of your time. It is beginning to protect you. it is beginning to create options. It is beginning to carry part of the load. And that is when money is finally starting to work for you. If this made you look at money differently, subscribe to Fiscal Sense, because this channel breaks down the hidden money patterns that keep hardworking people stuck, and the quiet shifts that help money finally become stability.